The United States and its allies has finally realized the importance of China's dominance and power in the world, so they have decided to keep visiting the current superpower China to beg for peace, trade, and help in ensuring their sanctions on other countries is effective. In an era marked by international tensions and shifting alliances, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer embarked on a diplomatic mission to China, aiming to navigate through the intricate tapestry of global relations. The visit, while crucial, unfolds against a backdrop of sanctions, contentious international politics, and the urgent need for collaboration amidst global challenges. The U.S. has been actively involved in imposing sanctions on various countries, including Iran and China, with the objective of safeguarding its national interests. These sanctions have, however, sparked debates and criticisms, raising concerns over their efficacy and humanitarian impact. Hello and welcome back to Innovative Check YouTube channel, where we delve into the innovative and transformative projects changing our world. If you're new to the channel and enjoy learning about innovation stories around the world, you've come to the right place. Please subscribe, like, and comment to help boost our videos on YouTube. Allow me to list some of what Majority Schumer asked President Xi to do. Address structural inequalities and imbalances. Remove barriers for U.S. companies. The Speaker requests the removal of significant barriers erected by the Chinese government, restricting the ability of American companies to compete fairly. Address unfair practices. Though U.S. insists on addressing issues such as forced technology transfers, theft of intellectual property, mandatory joint ventures, and intimidation of U.S. businesses in China. Open Chinese markets. Request for the removal of restrictions and opening of Chinese markets to U.S. companies, especially those in the semiconductor. Collaboration on stopping fentanyl. Urgent action is requested from China to stop the flow of fentanyl and its precursor chemicals into the United States. Strengthened statement on civilian loss in the Middle East. A direct request was made to President Xi to have the foreign ministry strengthen their statement on Gaza and Iran. America is often forcing and dictating to countries, but they know China is different. President Xi will only act in the interest of China. Regarding Iran, the U.S. imposed sanctions have been a point of contention, drawing criticism for their impact on the Iranian civilian population. Critics argue that these sanctions have not only affected Iran's economy, but have also inadvertently hurt the common people, limiting their access to essential goods and services. These sanctions, aimed at curbing Iran's nuclear ambitions, have further isolated the country, potentially exacerbating tensions in the volatile Middle Eastern region. Simultaneously, the U.S.-China relations have been under strain, with the U.S. imposing trade embargoes and sanctions on China due to various concerns, including human rights violations and trade practices deemed unfair by American standards. These measures have led to a tit-for-tat dynamic, contributing to an atmosphere of mistrust and competition between the two major powers. Senator Schumer's visit to China, therefore, carries significant weight as it represents an opportunity to bridge gaps, foster understanding, and perhaps pave the way for easing tensions between the U.S. and China. Meeting with Chinese leader Xi Jinping, Schumer has opened a channel for dialogue and negotiation, crucial for addressing the multifaceted challenges both nations face. In the ever-evolving landscape of international relations, every diplomatic engagement, such as Senator Schumer's visit to China, plays a pivotal role in recalibrating alliances, understanding mutual concerns, and laying the groundwork for future collaborations or negotiations. The imposition of sanctions by the U.S. on China has been particularly controversial, inciting a myriad of responses on the global stage. Critics argue that these sanctions, often justified on grounds of national security, human rights, or trade imbalances, might inadvertently escalate tensions and foster an environment of hostility and economic instability. The sanctions have had palpable effects on the Chinese economy, affecting various sectors and leading to a strained relationship between the two economic juggernauts. Critics urge for a nuanced evaluation of these sanctions, advocating for dialogue and engagement rather than economic coercion as a means to resolve differences. Senator Schumer's diplomatic endeavor aimed at initiating this much-needed dialogue with the Chinese leadership. Through open discussions and transparent communication, there is a possibility to reassess and perhaps reconsider the current sanction regime in a way that is constructive and conducive to fostering a more cooperative and amicable international relationship. Engaging with President Xi Jinping, Schumer had the opportunity to directly communicate the concerns and positions of the U.S., while also listening to the Chinese perspective. This bilateral interaction is not just symbolic, but is crucial for creating a platform where mutual concerns can be addressed and misunderstandings can be clarified. The criticism directed towards U.S. sanctions is not unilateral. There are voices within the U.S. that question the effectiveness and long-term impact of these economic measures. Critics within the country argue that while sanctions may serve short-term objectives, they might not be successful in eliciting long-term behavioral changes in the targeted nations. Instead, these critics advocate for a combination of diplomatic, economic, and cooperative strategies to achieve the desired outcomes. The international community watches closely as diplomatic engagements like Schumer's visit unfold, as these interactions have the potential to redefine the contours of international relations and diplomacy in the 21st century. With the global landscape marked by uncertainty and volatility, diplomatic prudence, open dialogue, and constructive engagement become the linchpins for fostering stability and cooperation among nations. It is within this framework that Senator Schumer's visit to China should be analyzed and understood. The trip is not about begging or showing a position of weakness. Instead, it is a demonstration of diplomatic acumen and a willingness to engage, discuss, and negotiate even when faced with significant differences and challenges. By actively engaging with China, the U.S. Senate leader has opened avenues for future dialogue and negotiation. Through constructive engagement and communication, there is a potential for both nations to work through their differences, reassess their positions, and collaboratively contribute to global stability and progress. In light of these developments, it is crucial for observers, analysts, and the general public to approach these diplomatic engagements with an open mind and a nuanced understanding of the complexities involved in international diplomacy. The stakes are high, and the outcomes of these interactions will invariably shape the trajectory of U.S.-China relations and, by extension, the broader dynamics of global politics in the years to come. If you are enjoying this video so far, please don't forget to subscribe, share the video, and comment. As Senator Schumer's visit unfurls, it signals a subtle, yet significant shift in the diplomatic dialogues between the U.S. and China. Engagements of this nature are imperative in these turbulent times where the global socio-political landscape is constantly in flux, with nations navigating through a maze of conflicts and collaborations. The imposition of sanctions is a tool that nations often resort to, aiming to modify the behavior of the targeted country without resorting to military conflict. While the effectiveness of sanctions is a subject of continuous debate, it's undeniable that they have considerable economic and humanitarian impacts. In the case of Iran, the U.S. sanctions have been critiqued for exacerbating the economic hardship faced by ordinary Iranians, arguably leading to a scenario where the civilian populace bears the brunt of these policy measures. Engagements like Schumer's visit to China provide an opening, a glimmer of possibility where diplomacy might pave the way towards a more stable and cooperative international environment. The senator's discussion with President Xi is symbolic of the U.S. willingness to keep the channels of communication open, even with nations where there are significant points of contention and disagreement. In these engagements, there is an unspoken understanding that dialogue is the precursor to resolution. The dialogue isn't necessarily an immediate solution, but rather a step towards understanding, negotiation, and eventually, resolution. It's through these diplomatic channels that nations can voice their concerns, elucidate their positions, and perhaps find common ground, even in a field brimming with disputes. Discussions held during Schumer's visit are not isolated events, but are intricately connected to the broader tapestry of global politics. Every word exchanged, every concern voiced, and every proposal put forth in these meetings is reflective of the complex dance of diplomacy, where nations attempt to safeguard their interests while navigating the delicate balance of international relations. In the context of U.S.-China relations, the conversation is layered and multifaceted, involving trade imbalances, human rights concerns, technological competition, and geopolitical strategy, among other issues. Each of these elements adds a layer of complexity to the dialogue, making diplomatic engagements all the more challenging and crucial. In a world where the power dynamics are constantly shifting, diplomatic engagements like Schumer's visit play an instrumental role in crafting the narrative of international relations. The visit is not an act of supplication, but a demonstration of diplomatic strategy aimed at fostering understanding and cooperation amidst disagreements. The essence of diplomacy lies in its ability to facilitate dialogue between nations with differing viewpoints. It's about creating a space where nations can engage in open discussions, express their concerns, and explore possibilities for collaboration or resolution. In this light, Schumer's visit to China is not just a diplomatic endeavor, but a narrative of persistence, dialogue, and hope for a more cooperative global future. Thank you for your attention, and I welcome your thoughts and questions on this complex and vital subject. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to get exclusive videos about how phenomenally China is developing and growing its influence. Your subscriptions and likes motivate us to generate more content, so please keep supporting us. Check out this video showing on your screen right now, and I will see you on the other side.